welcome to Brownstone's Best Business Review. I'm Paulette. I'm the owner and founder of BrownstoneWorldwide.com. And as always, I have an amazing guest that is going to be hanging out with us today. And it's all about customer service today, something that every last one of us deals with on a daily basis, whether you notice it or not. And so I've got a ton of questions. I'm excited to bring on this individual. But before I do, let's go ahead and find out who we're going to be talking to today, y'all. Her name is Angela Black, and she's an entrepreneur with 30 years of award-winning sales and customer relationship experience. Now, during her years in corporate America, she managed and trained sales reps, won numerous national sales awards, and was responsible for creating multi-millions of dollars in sales for companies like Pfizer, Endo Pharmaceuticals, Acadia Healthcare, and University of Phoenix. A former professional organizer, she was once featured on the TLC show Hoarding, Buried Alive, and wrote a book to help people manage their lives, businesses, and time more efficiently. Now, after being downsized from a corporate position for the fourth time in her career, she decided to use her years of experience and training to create the consulting firm Client Relations Consultants, where she helps business owners increase sales without spending extra money on marketing and ads. Angela helps remove the headache of dealing with customers and shows you how to turn those customers into sales reps for your business. I like that. Her mission is to make the world a happier place, one customer at a time, as she helps her clients increase their revenue. Her specialties include secret shopper services. Angela will become a customer of your business and provide you with a detailed customer experience audit on her experiences, good and bad. In addition to letting clients know what they are doing well, this report will also provide strategies on how their customer experience could improve, creating customized policies and procedures for companies that need to systematize their customer journey to increase their customer loyalty, retention, and revenue, training employees on how to provide consistent, professional, and concierge-level customer service, even in difficult situations. Corporate consulting, assisting corporations with ensuring that their minority customers and vendors feel valued and appreciated and want to continue doing business with their company. She's the mother of 2 grown daughters who are also entrepreneurs. She loves music, football, still rooting for the Falcons, art, good food, volunteering, the beach, and baking red velvet cakes. Ladies and gentlemen, let's introduce you to none other than Angela Black. Hey, lady, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
Welcome, welcome. I'm so
Thank
excited
you.
that you are here. Because listen, while I was reading your bio earlier today, first of all, I was floored because I didn't know how big customer service was until I saw your bio. That was amazing. So I want to start there. First of all, Angela.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank
That's
you.
first. I'm excited that you're here. I know her personally, so I'm excited. Okay. But here's the thing. Let's talk about customer service, what it is and what it isn't. Let's start there.
Okay.
I read your bio and you're talking about customer service. How big is it for major corporations and even for larger, I'm sorry, smaller corporations as well and smaller businesses, even like the Brownstone?
Well, it's a big deal for any company, no matter the size. The problem is larger corporations can get away with sorry customer service easier than smaller businesses. Okay. So I love to use the example of a Walmart, for instance. We all complain. I've not heard one person ever say that Walmart had good customer service, right? We all complain about it, but people still shop there.
Yeah.
They forgive the big box, the big, huge corporations. They forgive them for their sorry customer service. Here's another example. Southwest Airlines, over the holidays, customers were angry at them losing their luggage, canceling flights, right? Yeah. And people were like, I'm sick of Southwest. I'll never use Southwest again, right? Until January, when Southwest ran a sale for what, like $99 or $49 or something.
Yeah.
Oh, then people were like, well, I'm going back to Southwest, right? They easily forgive
Right.
large companies. Whereas for smaller businesses who have a smaller revenue,
Yes.
if you have really bad customer service, like Walmart, like Southwest Airlines did, it could make or break your business. And it's very detrimental. So it's important for both larger businesses and smaller businesses. But I think the impact of not having good customer service is felt more readily on the smaller businesses than it is the larger ones.
Interesting. And so we understand that it does have everything to do with marketing and advertising and dropping those prices really low, like what Southwest did. And they gave like a ton of points away and all of that, right? For the inconvenience that it costs their customers. But now when is enough for the customer? And do we get to decide, or in the situation with like a Walmart or like a Target even, which is very rare. I've never had a problem at Target. I'm just putting that in when we're talking about big box retailers, when we're talking about, Bed Bath and Beyond or Bath and Body Works or companies of those sizes. When the customer service is poor locally, and we have social media, and we have ways for people to communicate faster now. Do you think that there needs to be a way for companies to, what's the word I'm looking for, atone for the poor behavior of their local associates? Is that a culture thing? Does it matter? Is that making sense of what I'm saying?
So I think I agree with you. There should be a way that the larger corporations should be able to atone for the local, because it's a hierarchy.
Yes.
There's the CEO. There's probably the VP of all of the different retail locations. Then there's a regional manager and a district manager, right? Who has a certain number of stores that they're responsible for, and it goes up the chain. Yeah. So there should be a way that people could complain and it gets to the district manager. And if the district manager doesn't do anything, then it goes to the regional manager and then so on and so forth.
Okay.
The problem, I think, is that these companies are making billions of dollars. So if they have 1,000 customers that are complaining, it's not as high on the totem pole because they're still making billions of dollars.
It's still making billions.
And the problem, I think, too, is society as a whole has gotten used to having bad customer service. We've gotten used to it. We're used to just not being treated well, not being appreciated. And as a result, we complain about it, but we keep patronizing these companies. Now, you let that be a small Black-owned business.
Come on now.
You let that be, we got, let's just say it's a hair supply, beauty supply shop.
Yeah.
Black-owned, right? And I can't tell you how often I go into a beauty supply shop that is not Black-owned, owned by someone who typically Asian, right? Yes. Because typically those are the subset of people that tend to have those types of shops. Absolutely. I can tell you how many times I've gone in there and not been greeted, not been asked, did I need any help?
You're right.
They just treat you like a number. You come in, you get your stuff, you pay for it, and you're out, right? If that's a Black-owned business, though,
come on now.
It's just like when we're in corporate America, we have to work 10 times as hard. The same pertains to a small Black-owned business. Right. You have to dot your I's, cross your T's constantly, because if you make a mistake, that could be detrimental to your business, because people hold Black-owned businesses and women-owned businesses to a higher standard.
Yeah, that's a problem.
It's not fair. No. And that's one of the reasons that I started my company, is because I don't like the stereotype of, Black-owned businesses don't give good customer service. I don't like that stereotype. And what frustrates me is you tell me what companies do give good customer service. I can name about 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm talking about the big, huge companies. I'm talking about Publix. I like Publix. I like Chick-fil-A. They consistently give really good customer service.
They do.
You get some one-offs here and there, but for the most part, it's consistent. But those are just two that come to my mind right off the bat. Out of all the companies that are out there, right? But people will complain about Black-owned businesses and say they don't give good customer service. My goal is to help women-owned and Black-owned small businesses learn how to provide that concierge level customer service, so that even when they do make a mistake, people will say, well, their reputation is so good that this is a character
absolutely
for them, right?
Yeah.
And I want to equip them to be able to take that wrong and turn it around and maintain that relationship with the customer.
I love that. Now, you said something in your conversation here about Black-owned businesses, and I'm curious because I've heard this my whole life. So let's go ahead and let's dig this out. Tear it apart if we can. I've always heard this comment. Say, for instance, we have a Black-owned business, right? And they are new, or they've been around for a couple of years or whatever. And, oh, you should go ahead and check out so-and-so and so. But they slip up one time. One time. And what's the old adage that we hear? That's why I don't fool with Black businesses.
I tried.
Yes, absolutely. So we hear that a lot. We're not given the same grace.
No, we are not given the benefit of the doubt. No.
Right. Now, is that a cultural thing? Do you think that, where does that stem from? Because even though, I'm going to be honest, Angela, there's some Black-owned businesses out here, especially in these internet streets, that have poor service, and they're young and they're not aware of what they're doing because they're making so much money and it's coming in so fast. They don't have time to slow down just for a moment and assess. So number one, the question is, where did this come from? And how do we, using your services, how do we get above this issue of Black-owned businesses have poor service? Do you think that that impacts us in our ability to be able to generate revenue for ourselves? And also, what can new businesses do to help to support their new customer service as they continue to grow?
So one of the things you said that stuck out when you said, there are some Black-owned businesses, especially in the internet streets, where they're growing so fast, right?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. There are white businesses that way, Asian businesses, Hispanic businesses. Yeah. I mean, any gamut of humanity has online businesses that are growing so fast that they're not able to keep up. I've seen it, especially with TikTok, the advent of TikTok and Instagram and selling on those platforms. So I've seen, there was a young lady who happens to be white who was making a food thing. I'm not going to say what it is, but she was making something that was food. And somebody posted about it. It went viral. She got $40,000 worth of orders like overnight. Wow. She was bombarded, right?
Wow.
This was somebody who was just making, one or two, maybe a day.
Right.
Bombarded. Well, she was making it in her kitchen. And when she got bombarded with all of those orders, someone said, well, is your kitchen FDA approved and all of that? So then she had to go find a facility to make these huge batches of what she was making. And it caused her orders to be late, right?
Yeah.
And she did post a video, like a lot of Black-owned businesses will post a video too and say, thank you so much. I'm so appreciative of all the orders, but please have mercy. I'm trying to keep up.
Right.
The difference is, I think with us as a whole, we just still don't get that benefit of the doubt. It's almost like somebody will order from us with the thought, I'm going to see what they do. I'm going to see if they're going to do what they say they're going to do. We already are behind the 8 ball when the customer places the order, right? So any little slip up, it's kind of like, oh yeah, there we go. I knew it was going to happen,
Wow.
And it's frustrating. I don't know where that comes from. I've tried to figure it out. I don't know why, especially Black consumers treat Black-owned businesses that way. I'm not sure what that's about. Yeah, it's frustrating to me because we will give grace. If Amazon is late delivering something, we're upset.
Right.
Anybody would be upset, right? We'd be upset, but we still going to order from Amazon
again. We do. We do.
Why do we get so upset? And I think part of the issue with why Black-owned businesses, specifically Black-owned, are having these issues with customer service is because so many of us are solopreneurs.
Yes.
And we're trying to handle everything on our own or with our mother-in-law helping us out. Because we're trying to bootstrap it, right? Trying to bootstrap it. We don't have the money flowing and don't have the money management skills to hire really good help, right? So as we don't realize what we don't know. And this is how I explain it. I say, when someone starts a business, they have a widget. Whether that widget is a product or a service, they have a widget. Right. They know their widget very well. And they may even know how to sell that widget. Right. But that's all they know. They don't necessarily know the financial part of the business. Right. They don't necessarily know the customer service part of the business. Right. And all they know is, I got to sell this widget. I'm going to make some money. I'm going to take some money, buy some more widgets and sell some more widgets to make some money. Right. Okay. That's all they know. My suggestion to brand new businesses is it's part of your business plan should be your customer service plan. Before you even get started. I don't like being reactive. I prefer being proactive. Got it. So you should have a plan in place of, how do I want my customers to feel when they interact with my business? Okay. What experience do I want them to have? What do I want them to say about me behind closed doors? And then figure out, what am I going to do to get them to feel that way, to get them to say those things about me, to get them to keep bringing their own money back into my business and referring their friends and family to me. I love that. And you have to figure that out before you get started, because if you wait, then when problems arise, you have no plan of how to handle it. You know, so that's why I really preach having your policies and procedures in place when it comes to customer service.
Oh, so wait. I hope you guys heard what she said. Making sure that customer service is a part of your plan, making sure that policies and procedures, basically what you're saying is there needs to be an SOP just for customer service.
Oh, several SOPs, not just one.
Okay. And when you say several, is it for like, what happens if this happens? What happens if that happens? How do we address it if it's a return, or the service was poor, or the build out didn't happen on time? What are those things? What does it look like in terms of refunds? Does that fall under customer service?
So you would have one SOP about refunds and exchanges and cancellations. You'd have one about loyalty. What kind of loyalty programs are you going to put into place, and how will you implement them? What type of customer retention programs do you have, and how will you implement those? What type of sales strategies are you going to have throughout the year to make sure that you're constantly engaging people and trying to get them to purchase your service or your product? Those are the types of SOPs that you need to have written out. And if you ever get big enough to where someone wants to buy your business, that's what they purchase. They purchase your policies and procedures so that they can do exactly what you were doing to be so successful in your business, right? Yeah. So it's having those policies and procedures in place. And then when you hire people, you've got a document that they can follow. They know exactly what they're supposed to do without having to constantly ask you, what is it I'm supposed to do? How do you want me to handle this? It's in the SOP.
This is crazy. So even like returns and so like all of a sudden, like these little neurons in my head are going pew, pew, because I didn't know returns. I didn't know what happens in the next phase after the purchase. I didn't know until you just said that keeping a relationship with your customer is also customer service. I feel like an idiot.
No,
because I thought yeah. So I'm thinking, so all of this, so really it's the care of the customer throughout their entire experience with you.
So there's customer service, which is the service of the customer, like before the transaction, during the transaction, and even after the transaction.
Got it.
The experience is that those questions I asked, like, how do you want them to feel when they interact with your business?
Okay.
What do you want them to say about you behind closed doors? That's the experience, right? The feeling that they get. And how are you going to make them feel special? How are you going to wow them and make them feel special and make them feel like, because this is a very competitive world we live in. If I don't like your business, there's 1,000 other businesses out there that are doing what you do. If you make candles, I can find candles somewhere else, right?
Right.
So what is it about your business that's going to make me keep coming back to your business and tell other people to go to your business? That's more of the experience, the customer experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so that's why you do the shoppers, the secret shoppers. So explain that process. The customer reaches out to you, or the potential client reaches out to you, and they say, hey, Angela, now I got a question. I'm going to go here. So you have companies that literally send people out, right? And we're not going to say their names, but I know of a couple. And it doesn't sound like they're doing anything near what you are, because you're taking it back and providing them an assessment and what they can do to improve. Can you slightly explain that process of what that's like for you?
Yes. So I was a single mom, and I had, of course, full-time job, but I also had other little jobs on the side to make ends meet, like most single moms do, right?
Yeah.
So one of those jobs at one point was a secret shopper, where I got paid $10-15 to go through the drive-through at McDonald's and give some feedback, answer some specific questions, and send it in, right? What I do now, though, is much more detailed. It's a customer experience audit, where I've done it for hotels, for instance, and I will literally, from the time I drive up to that hotel, I'm paying attention to everything, all the details. From the time I drive up, walking in the lobby, to the time I get to my room, I'm taking pictures. I'm notating different things that did or did not happen, things that are good, things that are bad, things that I wanted, things that I didn't get, things that they did that surprised me, that was a good surprise, those things. All of that I'm documenting. And from the time I check out, all of that information is in, and it's a lot. It's a lot in that document. And I provide that feedback. I had one hotel, I did it for them. I went to visit my daughter out in Texas, and I did it for them. And she said, this is phenomenal. This helps us get ready for our quality assurance checks. They have a quality assurance, a secret quality assurance check that's scheduled by the home office every 6 months. They don't know what's going to happen. So she said it helped her figure out some things that they were missing, so that they could get ready for that, So mine is much more detailed than the secret shopping that people. So when I sometimes hesitate to say secret shopping, because people think I'm just going through the drive-through and no, it's much more than that, much more detailed than that.
And so when you're done with that and you provide them with that, do you stay with them to make sure that the action items that you provide to them are done? Or is that something where they may work through with someone else to get done?
No, they can work with that through me. It's an extra cost. So, there's different levels. So if they just want me to do the client experience audit, that's one cost. But if they want me to work with them to get those things that they fell short on improved, I can do that as well. And then give them another audit. If they improve, to see how they did on down the road. Right.
So this can be pretty extensive. We're not just talking about walking into somebody's business one day. This is an entire process, and then you take it back and do whatever's necessary to develop a plan for them and work with them through that procose. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
It depends on what the client wants. So it's tailored to what the client wants and needs and what their goals are. Okay.
So I noticed that also in your bio, you said that you work with corporations who want to improve their experience with their minority consumer. What does that look like as opposed to just the regular white consumer? I'm just going to go ahead and say it. What's different?
So that's an area of my business I haven't tapped into as much yet, but I do want to. Because, our experience is different. It's just different. And I'm not one to pull the race card often at all.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes things are just doggone obvious. You know, it's just obvious.
Right.
And I want to give companies a view of what it's like to be a Black woman shopping, especially it depends on the establishment. If it's an establishment that doesn't have a lot of Black patrons,
Mm-hmm.
that's very interesting because you really do see delineation in how I'm treated and how other customers are treated,
I
right?
see. Okay.
So in those instances, it is my goal to help them see. I want you to see how I'm treated versus how someone else is treated. And
Mm-hmm.
my goal is to dress differently. One day I might have a baseball cap on. One
Okay.
day I might have a Louis Vuitton purse and some nice heels, you know. Who know? I want to see, am I treated differently based off of how I'm dressed?
Wow.
Based off of how I carry myself? Am I treated differently? And so I'd like to venture into that. I haven't gotten into that space.
Okay.
That is
Okay.
something that I want to do.
That's interesting that you even bring that up. And I'm gonna go down this rabbit hole. And I'm sorry, but so if you had on, do you think that there's that disparity, especially when it comes to Black and brown individuals, if we decide to use a Louis Vuitton purse, even if it's not ours, as opposed to if we have on a baseball cap?
I do.
Wow.
I definitely do.
That's crazy.
I definitely, I mean, I may be wrong, but I do feel that there's a difference in how we are perceived. I remember I saw a video of a white woman saying that she had a Black friend and they were going somewhere. I can't remember where they were going. And the Black friend was dressed up.
Mm-hmm.
And she was not. She had on jeans. This white woman had on jeans and a t-shirt. She's like, well, why are you all dressed up? We're just going so-and-so. And the lady said, because I'm looked at differently than you. I think they were going to the bank or something. I can't remember. And she said, I'm looked at differently than you. She said, I don't think they're going to listen to me unless I present a certain way.
That is crazy. But that is, yeah, go ahead.
So I was accused of shoplifting twice.
Okay. I'm here for this story. You. let me lean forward. What?
So the first time I was like 25 and my dad had bought a bunch of clothes for me. He didn't know my style. He just bought me a bunch of clothes. I didn't like any of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking them back to the department store. And I used to work in retail. My first sales position was in a retail store. Okay. So I knew how things worked.
Yeah.
And he didn't give me his receipt. I didn't tell him I was returning the stuff. I didn't want to hurt his feelings. So I didn't have a receipt, but all of the clothes had their tags on them.
Right.
So I had this big bag of clothes and I'm looking because I'm like, okay, this shirt costs $20. I want to get something else that's $20. So I'm looking in the bag. I'm looking at the tag.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, $20. Let me find something else. Okay, this was $15. Let me find somebody said I was shoplifting.
Wow.
So security comes up and says, ma'am, can I see your bag? I said, why? I'm oblivious. I said, why? And they said, we just need to see your bag. I said, what do you need to see my bag for?
Yeah.
And they finally came out and said, well, someone said that they saw you put something in the bag. And I said, what? I was livid. I had just finished my master's degree. Didn't matter. I had just finished my master's degree and I was livid. I was like, you think I want this ugly?
I know what you wanted to say.
Yes, because I'm like, and I said, you know what? I was going to exchange. Now I just want a refund. I want all my money back.
Right.
I was livid and I could not believe. I'm like, if the person even watched me, they would have seen I wasn't putting anything in the bag. Right. So that was the first time. The second time, the department store that I used to work for was Macy's.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked for Macy's in my hometown. Okay. Well, I was here in college, in Atlanta, in college. And I know how things work. I could even spot the security officers throughout Macy's because I knew what they did.
Right.
So there was a certain plaid that was my favorite plaid at the time. Mm-hmm. And it was a Ralph Lauren plaid. Right. And so I found this jacket that was that plaid and I put the jacket on. I'm looking in the mirror and I'm looking at myself and there's two plainclothes security guards watching me. And I looked and I said, you have got to be kidding me. Do you know what I did?
What?
I put that jacket on. I walked all over the store. upstairs, downstairs, up the escalator, down. They followed.
No, you didn't.
I sure did. I walked all over that store. As long as you don't leave the store,
You good.
you're good. So I walked all over the store, girl, and they followed me. And I finally went back to the Ralph Lauren department, and I took the jacket off, and I walked up to the young lady that was working there, and I said, "Excuse me." I said, "I work at the Macy's in so-and-so town." And I said, over there, we get a 20% discount. Do we still get the discount here too? I work here. And she said, "You know what? I don't know. Hold on, let me ask." She picks up the phone to call someone and ask, and she saw the plainclothes security guard. So she puts the phone down. She's like, "Hey, come here." And they were like, because they were
really
like, no. And she was like, "Oh, no. She works for Macy's. Come here." And so they come up, and I stood there and I just looked at them. And she said, "Well, she works for Macy's and she wants to know, does she get her discount? Da, 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 da." And they said, "You work for Macy's?" I said, "I sure do."
Wow.
I was livid. I said, "You know what? You think I'm stealing something? You're going to follow me all over this store."
That part. Come on, somebody.
So I give you those examples because it frustrates me. It doesn't matter our education level. It just doesn't matter, right? Meanwhile, when the Macy's that I used to work in was getting ripped off all the time because they were following the wrong people.
Right.
They were following the wrong people. Meanwhile, other people were ripping them off, right? So loss prevention was horrible at that Macy's because they were following people that look like me. So my question is, if I were dressed a certain way, if I looked a certain way, I'm just curious, how would I have been treated differently? I don't know.
Wow. Oh, the stories that we could tell, right? So now let's talk about your business, because we could go on and on, because here's the truth. I've never had an experience like that. So I want to know, first of all, I've read in your bio that you, the fourth time in your professional career that you had been let go, if you will. I like to call it promoted. So the last time that you were promoted and you made the decision, when did you make the decision? Okay, that's it. I'm done. And you decided to go down this road because?
Well, this is not my first rodeo. Okay. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 14. I've had some business, something since I was 14.
Okay.
And like I said, I've always, as a single mom, had some businesses that I did on the side. And they were mostly 1099 type businesses. And this is the third LLC that I've created. Right.
Wow.
So starting a business is not foreign to me. It's something that I've been doing for a very long time. Having said that, after being laid off the fourth time, I was in sales throughout my career. Most sales reps are not my age. Most sales reps are in their 20s, 30s, maybe 40s. I'm 51.
Okay.
And the last time I've been in Atlanta since 2016, and I've been laid off 3 times since I've been in Atlanta.
Wow.
So the first time I got laid off, I was in my mid 40s, something like that, middle 40s. And I started going for interviews, another sales job.
Okay.
And I'm going into these interviews. Everybody's younger than I am. The people that are interviewing me are male, white, half my age, been promoted to manager, interviewing me, somebody who has trained sales reps, been a manager of sales reps. And now they're interviewing me and asking me questions that I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I could have answered these questions 20 years ago, right?
Right.
I did not look forward to that again. So when I got this fourth time, the first 3 times I was laid off, I didn't know I was going to be laid off. It was a shock. This fourth time, my company was spiraling. It was losing money. The company I was working for, I knew it was coming. And because I knew it was coming, I had to make a decision. Am I going to start applying for another job, or am I going to do something, about this? I'd say when I was in my mid 20s, I was working for a pharmaceutical company, and there was a manager that retired.
Okay.
And I asked him what was he going to do now that he's retired. He said, I'm going to be a consultant. And I said, what's that? I didn't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, I've been a manager for so long. I've got skills that I can help other pharmaceutical companies, small pharmaceutical companies, with managing their reps. And so I'm going to consult and they'll pay me for that.
Okay.
So I filed that in the back of my brain. I'm like, okay, a consultant. Maybe one day I'll be a consultant, right?
Okay.
Well, fast forward, I'm about to get laid off. And I said, I cannot see going back out there interviewing with people half my age who don't look like me. I just can't do it anymore. And I have way too much experience,
That part.
way too much expertise that I could do this. I've been in sales and customer service 30 years. I could teach people who need help how to improve their sales and customer service and get paid for it as a consultant.
I love that.
And that's what I did.
love it. I love it. And that's what you did. So now let's talk about something that I ask every guest on Brownstone's Best. What is the good, the bad, and the ugly of being an entrepreneur? The reason why I ask this question is because, and we talked about this briefly before we started the show. The reason why I ask this question is because currently in today's society with social media the way that it is, we always see how fabulous and glamorous it is. Watch me pack. We're going to the store and, you got the little bags and you're videotaping, you walk into the post office because you'd have made 3 or 4 sales, right? Or you're showing all your fabulous clothes. Nobody knows that you only have 5 outfits, right? And you're wearing them and it's looking good. What is the good, the bad, and the ugly of being in business? The truth from your perspective. Let's start there.
I'll start with the good. The good for me is I've been doing this for so long that what I'm doing for others is easy for me. It's fun.
Okay.
So my clients will call me and say, Angela, I need you to handle this difficult customer because if I do, it won't be pretty. And I handle it. I have had customers cuss me out, hang up on me, tell me no so many times. It does not faze me. I don't take it personally. And I'm able to remain calm because I don't take it personally. And I've done it so long that it's easier for me to take that angry customer. And by the time we get off the phone, they are saying, thank you so much. This was awesome. Thank you so much. Right. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens most of the time.
Okay.
I enjoy that. So because it's something that I enjoy, and I'm getting paid for it.
I love it.
This is wonderful, right?
Okay.
I get to set my own hours. I work 4 days a week, not 5. I work for 6 weeks and then I take a week off. Every 6 weeks I work and then I take a week off. I get to do that because I'm my own boss.
I love that.
If I want to work at the beach today, I'll work at the beach. If I want to work at my desk, I'll work at my desk. So I have all of those flexibilities, right? That's the good. And I'm getting paid pretty well.
Love it.
That's the bad.
Okay.
I would say the bad is it's unpredictable.
Okay.
So I have no idea from month to month, really, what I'm going to make. So when I have a really good month, I have to hold on to that money.
Yeah. Makes
because
sense.
I just don't know. And I'm the only employee. I mean, I have people that work on my team, but I'm the brains behind it all, right?
Okay.
So if I get sick, there are some things that my team can continue to do, but the other things, the things that I'm really getting paid the bigger bucks for, the bigger bucks are being paid because they get to work directly with me. And if I'm sick or out of commission, that's rough, right? So I'm in the process now of trying to figure out how can I position my company in such a way that it will continue to move even if I get sick.
Makes sense.
Right? That's the bad. The ugly is the stress for me because last year I probably worked 7 days a week for 6 months straight.
Wow.
Because, and the way I explained it to a friend of mine, because she'd ask me on a Saturday, hey girl, you want to go out? And I said, girl, no, I'm working. And she said, well, what are you still doing? Like what, when we are entrepreneurs, we are creating something that has not been created before.
Correct.
So we have to plan it. Then we have to execute the plan. And if that doesn't work, we have to go back to the drawing board and fix it. And it's a constant, your brain is constantly working. Yeah. And I became exhausted, physically and mentally exhausted. My stress level was through the roof. My blood pressure was rising because of the stress. Wow. Because when you're in corporate America, there's a false sense of security. You feel like, oh, I'm going to get that check every month, every 2 weeks, or however often you get paid, right? I say false sense of security because I've been laid off 4 times. Right. Security. But you're pretty confident you're going to have those benefits. Exactly. And that check. Yeah. When you're an entrepreneur, things can be kind of unpredictable. And that stress can kind of take a toll on you. Right. And so, yeah, I've had some health issues because of it. And that's the reason I decided to do the 4-day work week and work for 6 weeks and take a week off, because I have to take care of my physical and mental well-being in the process of building this company. So, you know, there's good parts of it. And then when you're in corporate America, some people are stressed. I was stressed in my last job, very stressed. So I traded one type of stress for another.
But would you have it any other way?
No.
You would not.
No.
Because you love what you do, and that's obvious. Now, for those of you all who are watching this, what I want you guys to know, and see, Angela, you don't know, but I love your shorts, your short videos. When you go out, I literally look for them, because, guys, what she does is she goes out and she rates businesses. And she will give you an idea of how good the food is and the service. And it's so cute, because then I'm always like, oh, I want to go check out this restaurant. Those are adorable. What caused you to start doing that? They're adorable.
So the city that I'm from is not a small town, but it has a small town mentality. Okay. And there's not a lot of restaurants there. There's the big chain restaurants like the Olive Garden, the Red Lobster. Yeah. But good restaurants, we didn't have that. So when I moved here, girl, I was like a kid in a candy store. I was so excited. And there was so many restaurants here that in order to figure out which ones were good, I would go to Yelp and look at the reviews and read people's reviews of it. And so that's how I figured out which restaurants were good. So then I said, well, since I learned from Yelp, I want to put my reviews on Yelp so other people, I can help other people, right? Yeah. So I started doing that. And then all of a sudden, I got an email from Yelp, and they said, we would like for you to be part of our Yelp Elite Squad.
Get out of here.
And I said, what's a Yelp Elite Squad? And that is a group of people like me who do a lot of reviews on Yelp. They ask us to be a part of this squad, and we get asked to restaurant openings. We get asked to just different events. Right. Because those particular establishments, it's not necessarily a restaurant. Like I went to Candytopia for free. They want us to do reviews and to put it out there to let people know that this was a great place to visit, right? So we get asked to do those things for free. And sometimes I can take a guest, sometimes I can't. Right. But I've been doing it now. I think this is my 3rd year now. I think I just got re-upped for the 3rd year. So then I was like, okay, well, I'll keep doing Yelp reviews. And then I started doing Google reviews, Google Maps. So I started doing Google reviews. So now I'm a Google local guide is what they call it, a Google local guide. Okay. And I just thought, well, once I started my business, then I said, okay, I'll just continue doing this as part of my business and paying attention to the customer service and the quality of the food and all of that. But that's why, is because I was so excited to have so many different restaurant choices and just trying to figure out which ones were the best. And so now when people, especially my Facebook friends, when they're coming to Atlanta, they'll reach out to me and say, hey, I'll be in Atlanta. You got any suggestions of where to go?
I love that. I had no idea that Google and Yelp did something like that. That is amazing. I bet it's a lot of fun. Do you pick where you want to go, and then you choose to you share that with them, or they say, hey, here's a list, pick?
No. You pick where you want to go. You pick where you want to go. And what's funny to me is nobody, like, they don't think about the fact that I'm evaluating them. They should, because 2020 changed the game. COVID changed the game.
How so?
Because everybody was home, right? Everybody was sheltering in place.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened is you couldn't go to a restaurant on your own. We couldn't eat inside the restaurant. So what we would do is we would look on Yelp and Google Maps to see the reviews, because we couldn't really get a feel for it ourselves. So a lot of people started looking at reviews to order takeout or to order delivery from these restaurants.
Okay.
Well, when the world opened up again, people still use those reviews because that's what we got in the habit of doing in 2020.
Got it.
So you would think that restaurants would treat everybody top notch, or not just restaurants, any business would treat everybody top notch, because they know those reviews are very important.
Yeah.
But they don't.
But they don't.
They still don't. They still
Interesting.
don't. And so I went to a restaurant recently, and I evaluate everything from the time I sit down. I'm paying attention. How long did it take for the person to greet me? That person sat before me. Did they get served before me? Just all kinds of things that I'm looking at. I'm looking at the smells. I pay attention to the smell. What does it look like? What am I listening to? Is the music too loud? Is it offensive music? Is it, what's the ambiance like?
Got it.
How are the seats? Are the seats comfortable? I pay attention to all of that, right? And you'd be surprised at some of the service or lack thereof that you get in those restaurants. Yeah.
That is really interesting. And so the question that I have next is one that let's start with this one, because I'm always curious. So in your walk, we're going to call it your walk, your entrepreneurial walk. Here's another question for our audience, for those people who are looking for a way to walk in their own Brownstone's best. What advice would you give to someone who wants to strike out on their own, even though they have tons of experience and all of that, or even if they don't? What advice would you give those folks who want to do what you're doing? And not per se this, but having the entrepreneurial spirit to step out and make it work for themselves, make it happen for themselves.
That's a hard one, because I agree with you. Social media has made people think that entrepreneurship is this wonderful thing and any and everybody can do it. And I think that's one of the reasons we're having a hard time now with being able to hire good people, is because so many people don't want to work for anybody else. They want to do their own thing. And I think that's great. But like I said, I've been doing this a very long time, starting businesses. And I have a pretty good idea of what I need to do to promote my business. There are other things that I do outside of just marketing. A lot of networking. Part of that comes from my sales background. I had to do a lot of networking and stuff with my sales background. But what I see happening is, yes, there are these new millionaires, right? They're making all this money on social media, especially the product-based businesses. But what happens a couple years from now when, for some reason, whatever their widget isn't in style anymore?
Exactly.
Do they have the resilience to have a plan B? Do you have a plan B?
Yeah.
Do you have the resilience to pick yourself back up and keep going? Because that's what an entrepreneur has to do.
Yeah.
A friend of mine that's an entrepreneur, she was like, I just feel like such a failure. I made all this money and the money's gone, right? And I said, well, let's talk about Will Smith. Will Smith got accepted to MIT and turned it down. Yeah. To be on the Fresh Prince, to be a rapper. That's what it was.
You're a rapper. Yeah.
A rapper. He made a bunch of money as a rapper, lost it all. Bought houses and cars and all that, lost it all.
Right.
Then he got the Fresh Prince role. And that to me is a lot like entrepreneurs. We will try one thing, it may not work. Try another thing, it may not work, but we don't give up. We keep going. Yeah. And I think some of the newer entrepreneurs that have gotten such sudden fame and sudden fortune, I don't know that they're ready for that. I'm afraid, I'm kind of concerned of what's going to happen when, or if things don't go as well as they thought, and all of a sudden their sales go down. Do they have that gumption to keep going, like those of us who have fallen, and now,
Yeah,
Because like I said, this is
absolutely.
not the first company that I've started. I've started
Okay.
other LLCs. They didn't do that well.
Okay. So, but you're in this space, and do you attribute that to maturity and taking all of the pieces from your previous businesses to add to what you have now? Do you find yourself, maybe going back and saying, "Oh, okay, well, I remember I did X, Y, Z. Maybe I shouldn't do it that way. Let's do it this way." Is that a thought process that you have? And
Well,
then,
I think for me, the difference now is I got smarter people in the room with me.
ah,
Before I did everything by myself, trying to figure it all out on my own.
okay,
I didn't ask people how to do marketing. I was I was the chief marketing officer, the
come
CEO,
on,
the sales reps, the public relations person. I did it all myself, trying to figure it all out because
yeah,
I didn't have the money or didn't even think
mm,
about maybe I need to ask somebody who knows what they're doing with marketing to
yeah,
help me market. I didn't
right.
even think about that. Now, when it comes to marketing, I pay somebody else to do it. When it comes to,
I don't blame you.
aspects of my business, I pay someone else to do it. And that has helped me to propel my business forward faster than the other times that I had businesses. Yeah.
Wow. I am enamored. I'm so sorry. I know that we're wrapping up and we've got about 5 minutes left. But I just want to say, first of all, y'all, she took some fabulous photos. Let's talk about this beautiful sister right here. And let me tell you how y'all can get in touch with her. Because, Angela, that's the next question. How do they get in touch with you? Outside of this website right here, y'all,
Yes.
what are the steps that they take to get in touch with you and to work with you, consult with you?
So I say people pay me to turn their angry customers into repeat
Yeah.
customers,
Mm,
and to create policies and procedures around sales and customer service, and to encourage client retention and referrals from their
mhm,
customers, right? That's what
mhm.
people pay me for.
Yeah.
On social media, you can find me at the customer queen. The THEE, the customer queen is what I am on all of my social media outlets.
Okay.
And that's the website that you can find me. You can schedule an appointment on that website, a free appointment, if you want to talk
Okay.
to me for about 15 minutes, just to see if there's a way that I can help you. Oh, thank you for that. If there's a way that I can help you with your business.
Mhm.
But yeah, those are the ways to get in contact with me.
Okay.
Yeah. Just I hope people follow me on social media. Um,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
my following.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know, but I'm going to ask, do you offer group classes for businesses to give them information? Is there an upcoming webinar or seminar or anything? Because we got folks out here that's cutting up. Let's just put it out there. And
Yeah.
they need you. They need you, Angela.
So if they go to my website, the angelablackcrc.com,
Mhm.
there's a pop-up that comes up that says you can download this free guide, and it's
Okay.
going to ask you for your email address. If they
Mhm.
get on my email list,
Okay.
in April, I'm wanting to launch a membership where every month I will offer a training on
Good.
something else regarding customer service, and they'll
Mhm.
also get something free, whether it be a template, maybe an SOP template, or an ebook every month, right? So I'm going to
Yeah.
launch that starting hopefully April 1st is when it will launch. But
Okay.
that's the easiest way to get on my email list so that they'll know when that launch happens. That's the group thing that I'm going to offer.
Okay.
Outside of that, I don't have any webinars coming up right now. I'm still
Mhm.
dealing with my individual clients. I've got quite a few that I'm working with right now.
Okay.
So no webinars coming up, but that membership is coming up.
Okay, good, 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 good. Because I definitely see where your service is absolutely needed. And I'm going to be honest with you, Brownstone Worldwide needs it. Okay, because we're growing in leaps and bounds, and there's so many moving pieces,
Yeah.
right? So we have the new course that's coming up for our podcasters, and so I want to make sure that they're happy. I do.
Right,
I think it's
right.
important and to assess over time how the program is going to go. And so, guys, I'm just going to put it out there. AngelaBlackCRC.com is where you can find this beautiful sister.
Well,
And
thank
y'all, she took some amazing photos. I'm just going to share them. Hello.
you.
They're so cute. I love them.
Thank
They
you.
are
Yeah.
beautiful. You are
Micaiah
letting
did an
me have
amazing
it.
job.
Yes. So
Thank you.
listen, are there any last words for our audience before we wrap?
Yes, I think the last words is it's not just that I want to help businesses provide great customer service, but we have to be good customers.
Mm.
Folks are showing out. Folks
Ooh.
showing out.
Mm.
And please just have empathy for those people that are
Yes.
servicing the public, people that are working with the public. Have empathy for them. Put yourself in their shoes. It's hard dealing with the public. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Now, unless they're just rude to you, but most people are doing the best they can.
Absolutely.
So try your best to be good customers.
That part.
As well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh my God. That's a whole different show. Listen, we need to have you come back and do lunch and learn, and let's talk about that.
Let's do that.
I'm so serious.
We can do
that.
Oh
my God. Okay. So you guys, this is Paulette. I'm the owner and founder of Brownstone Worldwide, which houses brownstoneworldwide.com, KCCR, the Brownstone podcasting service, and also Brownstone Living Magazine. This is Angela Black, CRC.com. She came to hang out with us. She is the customer queen. Go ahead and check her out on all of her social media handles and find out how you can attenuate your business with better customer service. This is your edition of Brownstone's Best Business Review. Angela, thank you so much for coming to hang out with us today.
I appreciate it.
Yes, of course. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you next time. Have a great one.